Cimmeria, or Cimmeria, is a faction that I have grown to like quite a lot. I liked them at first when I saw them having the ability to bring your noble horse archer general together with cheap hoplites like these very awesome Scythian hoplites. It's just so awesome, together with heavy bows that use two-handed spears in melee. And their spears do have a bonus against cavalry or large units, elephants, camels and horses, of 30. So these guys are going to be able to hold their own unless they are charged and knocked down. They're going to be able to support cavalry fights fairly well, actually. My army consists of 3 steppe horse archers, 6 Scythian hoplites, 2 Cimmeria noble infantry, 6 Cimmerian heavy archers, 1 noble horse archer general, and 2 citizen cavalry with 1 militia hoplite unit. I'm up against Carthage with 2 Carthaginian cavalry, 1 mercenary Scutari, 1 noble cavalry, 4 Libyan hoplites, 3 mercenary Cretan archers, 2 Libyan peltasts, 2 mercenary noble fighters, mercenary Samnite warriors, Libyan infantry, and Libyan infantry. And of course these mercenary noble fighters are prime targets for my steppe horse archers. So ideally I want to shoot these guys full of missiles before they can wreck my entire infantry line. So my opponent doesn't respond to this, which is fine. That allows me to get in a volley and do some damage to his mercenary noble fighters, which is going to be massively important before the melee starts. For some reason he doesn't turn around his mercenary Cretan archers to face me. Well, now he does, so I need to be a bit careful, but he's going to move forward, which is nice. That gives me more time to get into the rear against these very dangerous mercenary noble fighters. I should be able to win the skirmishing fight against his with my Cimmeria heavy archers, because the Cretan archers don't have shields anymore. So these guys are fairly similar, but I have more armor and I have more units, of course, so that helps. The Cretan archers are no longer the kings of the skirmish. They never were really, because Rhodians were better, but they're not the king of the archers anymore. These guys are the kings of archery, in my opinion, because they have the two-handed spear as well, and armor, and just overall good stats. So you get to see a bit more of what that can do to cavalry a bit later. So the mercenary noble fighters are dying pretty quickly to my arrows here, and that is going to be massive in the coming melee, because I don't have a very strong infantry component here. I'm just going to use these guys as a screen, try to fire at his mercenary Cretans. I'm pouring some fire into his Libyan hoplites, which of course is a mistake, so I'm pulling away with my Cimmeria heavy archers. And maybe I should have engaged his hoplites here, but I'm not too... well, seeing that as how we've turned around his Cretan archers, I think that would have been a good idea. But I'm not going to do that, because I'm going to keep my Scythian hoplites just as a screen to protect my guys, and then I'm going to skirmish these mercenary noble fighters to death. But he did turn around his mercenary Cretan archers, which was a pretty good move on his part. And here I managed to get my noble horse archer general caught without him really doing much, which is a mistake. I don't have the time to save him, I don't have the forces to save him, so I'm just going to charge my opponent's general here. Of course, losing my general at this point is bad. Countercharge with my militia hoplites. They weren't really able to stop these guys, but they are going to absorb some damage at least. And here I get way too close. But this is the nice thing. Here now I can skirmish and shoot with my guys and kill him from two sides. So my Cimmeria heavy archers are killing his Cretans from this side, and these guys are pulling away fire from the mercenary Cretan archers, so pretty nice. These guys are down to half strength, which is also very nice. My citizen cavalry is going to do well against noble cavalry, because the noble cavalry didn't get a charge, but my noble horse archers just died a horrible death, so not really good. Cretan archers losing due to my superior numbers, getting a good charge off on these guys, kind of stopped by the mercenary noble fighters though, so the charge wasn't really good. The Libyan hoplites are dying to the Scythian hoplites. And as long as I can keep his cavalry away from mine, this should be a GG. My Assyrian hoplites are not going to do well against Libyan infantry and mercenary noble fighters, but they are going to hold for at least some time. And here he isn't going to even try to save his general here, because I am going to lose this fight. So now I'm going to turn around and test the capability these guys have against cavalry. So I'm going to focus fire on the incoming cavalry unit and see how well they can do. Now I'm doing massive friendly fire here as well. Let's just see if these two-handed spears are any good. Ooh, that guy took friendly fire. Yep, doing quite a lot of damage in melee here. And this is just going to close the trap for his Carthaginian cavalry. They already have taken damage, and now they're going to go down very quickly. Look at these Cimmeria heavy archers. They're actually getting nice kills in close combat against these cavalry units. Although they are dying a bit, they did something not many other units would be able to, or many other skirmishing units. They're taking a massive amount of friendly fire and defeating 3 cavalry units with some support by Syrian hoplites, so very good. Now I'm not too worried because most of my archers are intact. I have a lot of ammunition left. I am winning some of these infantry fights, but only against Libyan hoplites, so I'm going to be able to push back his skirmishers while pouring fire into high value targets. So things are looking pretty good for Cimmeria now. But here you can see just how dangerous the mercenary noble fighters are. Destroying this Cimmeria noble infantry without taking many casualties. The Cimmeria nobles, they look pretty cool. But they're no match for the mercenary noble fighters, so I'm just going to shower these guys with arrows for my Cimmeria heavy archers. Do the same here with his noble cavalry general. He moves them away too late and the general just routs. And of course his Libyan infantry doesn't really care, but his mercenary noble fighters are not disciplined, so they are going to take a morale hit from the general fleeing the battlefield. Charging into my Scythian hoplites. I tried to countercharge, but well, I sort of managed to countercharge. And now, as you can see, most of his units are dealt with, but he still has these strong infantry units left, and they can cause me a lot of grief. Sam Knights and mercenary noble fighters tanking up the kills. So I'm just going to keep shooting at his high value targets, preferably from the side or from behind. So let's see how quickly we can take down these mercenary Sam Knights. Or actually here, because I'm firing more over here now. So his mercenary nobles destroying the Syrian hoplites. So a lot of kills on them now, but even this depleted unit got a lot of kills. But they won't be able to catch my archers. Charging into mercenary Sam Knights with my Syrian hoplites while firing at them from the rear is going to cause them a lot of pain. Yeah, so they're just dying extremely quickly. Over here I'm actually winning because I managed to look at these guys. These guys are facing away. These guys are facing away. Well, that sometimes happens if you charge and you use the phalanx and the shield wall. You will have these weird situations where you have 2 units that are just standing with their backs turned to each other and nothing much is really happening. So this is a pretty stupid looking situation. Winning against the Libyan infantry here. These mercenary noble fighters are getting showered from all sides. Mercenary Sam Knights routed, pouring some fire into the peltasts, but mostly into the mercenary noble fighters. And they are dying quickly. That is their main weakness, cavalry and missiles. And of course chariots and elephants, but... So here I'm charging my hoplites into his... I did turn around these guys finally, and this means that these guys are going to get attacked in the rear. And getting a very weird charge with these guys. They're sort of just splitting and running down the entire line. And the mercenary noble fighters are not getting the best charge here, but they're going to be able to kill quite a few more of my men. So these guys actually won against, was it only militia hoplites, or... no, actually it was against Scythian hoplites. So the Scythian hoplites got quite a few kills, but they were defeated by peltasts, so make of that what you will. Now I'm charging in with the two-handed spears. See if they can finish off these Libyan peltasts on the charge. Getting a few more kills. Yeah, they're actually killing pretty effectively. 126 kills, very good on them. And they're still getting kills in melee, so these guys are very useful archer units. Mercenary noble fighters going down. Now it's just a matter of mopping up the rest of the units, so I'll just fast forward. Getting in rear charges with the steppe horse archers. So what I quite like about this type of the new factions is that with the new factions and patch 16, in some ways skirmishing is more viable than it was in 15, because you have more bows with longer range, you have improved sniping, you have more dual purpose units that both can skirmish and can fight well in melee. But have a look at the kills here. Scythian hoplites doing very well for themselves, and the Cimmeria heavy archers doing very well. These guys underperformed, but that was mostly because I used them poorly. Even the militia hoplites, 68 kills, so pretty nice. But the Cimmeria noble infantry, not too sure about these guys. You have to spend your funds on something, but in this case I think it would have been better just to bring more noble horse archers and leave the Cimmeria noble infantry at home. But they did hold off some mercenary noble fighters for some time. Libyan peltas did well, the Cretan archers didn't do too much, and I would have preferred, against Cimmeria at least, I would have preferred just to have more units than this. Nice idea with the Libyan hoplite meat shields, but I would have liked to see more units. More Libyan infantry instead of just mercenary noble fighters, and I think it could have worked a bit better than it did. But anyway, thanks for the game, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again on the battlefield.